Good morning. Welcome to your clearings to start the day for today, May 30th. Today we're talking about not enough and control as a function of not enough. I realized yesterday in working with a private client, as well as on my own, in my own life, how much I and we control, or try to control, as a function of not feeling enough or not believing that we are enough. And the theme of this whole week is not enough. Also because the live that I'm doing, I'm just bringing up my notes here. Hello, Nicole. Thank you for being live. We're going to be doing a live this Friday, and it's all about not enough-itis or never enough-itis or feeling not enough or self-worth issues. And I realized that control is actually one of the measurements of that. So I think it can go both ways. I think we can see when people control too much, that it's actually about not feeling like they're enough. We'll get into that. The other is when we try to not control at all, is also a function of not feeling like enough. So for example, my client, and I've had many, many clients like this. I even have family members like this. You might as well. Whew. Yep, somebody does. Some energy on that. Where they have to control everything. You know, every inch of the lawn has to be mowed perfectly, or the family schedule has to be adhered to perfectly, or you have to show up right on time, and if you don't, everything is ruined, or the dishes have to be done exactly a certain way, or chores always have to be done on Sunday at 10 a.m. It's this extreme control. Or in the workplace, they always have to have things their way. If it's not done their way, it's not done right. Could be a boss or a coworker or a manager. So I would say that all of that control is actually a function of not feeling like they're enough. Or if that's you that I'm talking about, that you're not feeling like enough. So you're using control as a way to try to be enough. But it's a double-edged sword because you can never control the universe. You can't. You can create your universe. But when you're trying to control all the things outside of you, you will fail a lot. Now, a lot of people have become very skilled at controlling people and circumstances around them, but they still can't do it the majority of the time because they're dealing with a world that is unruly and uncontrollable. So they're using control to try to be enough or feel like enough, but it's a double-edged sword because they're never going to win that game. They're always going to lose. Then they get to feel like a piece of crap, beat themselves up, and reaffirm that they're not enough, which then has them try to control even more to try to be enough, but then it's like this sick addiction, this cycle of control and then not enough, and control and then not enough, and then control and then never feel like enough. So if that's you that I'm talking to, all the ways you are trapping yourself in the cycle of control and feeling not enough, would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? Now, this could be not even so major as trying to control outer circumstances and other people. It could just be with your own goals, intentions, or manifestations. So you have a goal of X dollars by this specific date. Now I'm going to fly in the face of many of the teachers that you probably have listened to, and if you want to go with their version, great, go for it. Go with what feels light. These videos are never about, Will's truth. It's just try it on. If it feels light and you like it, then go with it. And if it doesn't feel light, then don't go with it. But I have found for myself and many of my clients that having a specific date by when you're going to make a certain amount of money never works. You either get more or you get less. It's usually less. Or you completely change the goal. Like the date is just, it's so superfluous. And what most of us do, some of us don't do this, but what most of us do is we use that date as a beating stick. And I know I've done this countless times, where if we don't get it by that date, it's another excuse to beat ourselves up and to feel like a piece of shit. So again, using control as a way to beat yourself up and feel and to be and to prove that you're not enough. So all the ways you are using control to reaffirm and recommit that you are, in fact, not enough. would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? Since we got some people live, I'd love to see some yeses or like, amen, brother, or like, I'm totally with you. Or if I'm not speaking to you at all, if this is not hitting any buttons, let me know that as well. Now, on the other side of that, and Regina, good morning. Yes, thank you. On the other side of that, you could be totally not controlling. God controls everything. The universe controls everything. I am not, thy will be done, which is a beautiful and a powerful prayer. I'm not knocking that prayer. But when we go to that extreme of thy will be done all the time, or the majority of the time, we're actually also trying to prove that we're not enough because we're not deserving of having specific requests. Do you think, let's just go with that there is a God and there is a spiritual force in the universe, because that is what I believe. Let's just go with that for a minute. Do you think that if that is true, that there is a spiritual unifying force that can create all the different flowers I'm looking at in springtime out here in front of me, and the possibility of fire, and that this house that I live in is even a possibility, do you think that a spirit that could orchestrate and organize all that is going to acknowledge or notice your request for $10,000 and say, no, you can't have that. No, you can have a body that works in miraculous function and all these different things that work. You can have billions and billions of stars in the universe, and you can have but you can't have a specific amount of money. You can't have that. So when we go on the extreme of completely thy will be done and that I have no say in this, that's another version of not enough. That you're not even worthy to make a request or make a demand. Whoa, make a demand. Any of my fellow spiritual enthusiasts, when they hear those words, make a demand, I'm not comfortable making a demand. I totally hear you. I've been there. I am often still there. So all the ways you are using a lack of control and a lack of demand or a lack of being or making requests to prove that you're not worthy of having what you really want. Whew. Ha! Whew. Would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? Whew. Okay. And Nicole had made a great a comment I wanted to address here. I was told the dates were important to write down, but I understand what you mean. It can be a downfall if it doesn't happen. Yeah, and Nicole, let's just get real. How often do you write down a date and it happens by that date? I'd love to know, because I don't want to make any assumptions. I just know that for my own self, my own practice, I've never. I don't think I've ever set a date by when I said that money would show up and it shows up. It always happens differently. I'm not saying that it doesn't. I know many people who have demanded or requested money by a specific date and they get it, or they get more, or they get close to it. So, good enough. And I've had other things that show up by specific dates. And Nicole, not very often. So I would be willing to bet that if you're making requests or demands, especially around money, and they're not showing up consistently, you're actually using that tool or that process or that method as a way to prove that you're not enough. Try that on for your mental size, as Jim Rohn used to say. Now, if you do make specific requests, and I'd love to hear for the people that are on this live right now or watching the replay, do you make specific requests, especially around money or specific things like that, and they show up by or close to the date that you said? I would love to kind of get a bit of an informal poll, because I definitely know people like that. They do that. So for them, when they make a request for specific amounts of money by a specific date, and it shows up or close there too, they are not using that tool to prove that they're not enough. That's not even part of the conversation for them. It's a completely different thing. But if you're like Nicole, or like I have been many times, and you're making specific requests and they don't show up by a specific date, I'm willing to bet you're actually using that as an excuse to reaffirm and recreate that you're actually not enough. So, that reality, where you're creating excuses and examples to prove that you are not enough and you never will be. Would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? And Nicole said, I had a job show up close to the date. Awesome. but the money isn't what it should be yet. Okay. So it's still a thing to practice, and I've had things show up close to dates and things, or close to amounts and be close to what I specifically asked for. But it's definitely not the norm. So I'm careful about that. And here's the other key, and we'll end on this note. Whatever your inspiring energy is, and I talk about this all the time because it's so important. If your inspiring energy when you make a goal for a specific amount of money by a specific date, if the inspiring energy is, I have to make this money or I have to hit this deadline to prove that I'm enough, it's not going to work. Same as if you sign up for a course. So if you sign up for any of my courses and your inspiring energy is the same, I have to sign up for this course or take this program so that I can be enough, so that I will know enough, so that I will have enough skills, so that like any of that, it will never go well. Ever. You can't sign up with that as your inspiring energy. You can't set an intention or a goal with that as the inspiring energy and have it work out. It just doesn't work. Okay, so Facebook Live on Friday, tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to dive even deeper on this topic, and I've got my notes here to make sure I explain it properly. So it's called Suffering from Never Enough-itis. It's also the day that my reality shifted forever and how you can do the same. So the day that I shifted out of that reality. We're going to unpack the potential sources of your never enoughness, what those could be. Number 2, why you'll never shift not enough unless you address this one thing, and I'm going to share what that one thing is. Number 3, the clear actions you can take to continue clearing the energy around never enough or not being enough. And then number 4, the specific steps you can take to deepen this and to really, clear this at the root and to really take care of this once and for all. Maybe not once and for all, but to clear it at such a level that, I find in my work that even if you clear 1% of the shitty belief patterns in your life, the magic and the rainbows and the unicorns that open up is just miraculous. Like, I've been going through some big stuff this week. I've shared about it on some other videos. And I worked with one of my best friends and co-energy facilitator, and we cleared maybe 1% of the shitstorm and the shame storm that I was going through. But even just clearing 1%, the rest of my week has been amazing. Like, I've just been, you can tell, I'm happy again. I'm off and running. There's still a whole shame storm that is not completed or cleared up, but clearing 1% has made magic. So if you'd like to clear even 1%, show up on Friday for our Facebook Live. It's only in our free Facebook group, the Clear What's in the Way Facebook group. So you can only see it if you're part of that group. We'd love to have you come and join. And yeah, we'll see you there. And I'll be back for another morning video tomorrow. Have an amazing day. Go enjoy the spring. And I'll see you soon. Thanks so much. And thank you, Nicole, for jumping in and being willing to participate and just share yourself and put yourself out there. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day. See you soon. Bye-bye for now.